In Oklahoma, in Cleveland County, is the city of Moore.
The city of Moore has small town vibes with the amenities of a big city. It's more of a residential area. People are friendly and they genuinely care about one another. I was working Baker shift, which is our evening shift, which runs from 3 in the afternoon to midnight. It tends to be our busiest shift. So a lot of times you're running from call to call to call. So it can be very, very hectic.
Midway through his shift, Officer Darwin receives a disturbing call from dispatch.
The call comes out to a domestic where a third-party witness had called stating that his neighbor was essentially screaming bloody murder. I don't have my lights and sirens running to a domestic violence call. We want to show up and still have the element of what is essentially surprise.
Hello. I want to go over there real quick, see what happened. As soon as I walk out, this lady's screaming bloody murder. He's not welcome in my house. The one with that white light on there.
Okay.
Yeah, they got their blinds open. I don't know. She came out screaming, saying he's not welcome. He's gonna hurt my animals. Call the cops. So, call the cops.
Do you have any idea who else is there?
Just her and her man. I don't know. I seen him. He was gonna come outside, but then we heard her going crazy. I went back inside, give my phone a call, and I don't know. I think I heard her run off, but I haven't. You know.
She ran back in the house as I was walking out the front door, but they're fairly new residents, so this is all new for us.
A lot of times people will call in things and they maybe will be exaggerated, but I don't know, there's something just felt off. Domestic violence calls are some of the most dangerous calls that we can go on. We're going into someone's house and we don't know what kind of weapons they have in there, what their intentions are, or just who they are in general. No one was coming to the front door. No one was yelling. No one was even telling the dogs to be quiet.
Officer Hughes is now dispatched to assist.
You have a small snapshot from what they've told you, and so you don't know what you're going to walk into when you get to that house.
There's dogs everywhere.
Officer Hughes and I are, I'd say, we're pretty good partners. If I tell him that I feel something's off, he's going to trust it. If he tells me, I'll trust the exact same thing.
I'm gonna go out to the street and around, check the other side.
Officer Hughes is trying to get another vantage point into the residence to see if maybe there's something else that I'm not seeing.
There's like an empty room on this side. I can't tell what this room is. I can't see in it.
No signs of a struggle, no signs of a fight. There's no blood on the floor. We can't just go kicking in a door just because we have a hunch. We have to have a reason.
Did you try the doorbell? You did. Yeah.
The dog came running up to the door like every dog does, started barking at the door, and then they started to do something strange. They wouldn't stay at the door like you would imagine a typical dog would do and continue to bark at the stranger in front of their house. They would run into the very back corner of the hallway that I could see down. And it just felt off.
We both believed that there was somebody in that room.
Is there someone laying back there? Is there someone being held hostage and being told to be quiet? Is there someone that's being threatened with serious acts of violence that says, hey, if you answer the door, something bad is going to happen to you?
I wanted to go back and talk to the reporting party. Sometimes talking to people a second time will cause them to remember something else.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Did anybody see any injuries on her?
No, but she
I mean,
she
we
was
were-
screaming pretty loud. She was pretty scared.
She was pretty scared. Do you know what they drive by
Yeah,
chance?
so they drive like a
Bronco.
Bronco.
And there was a white SUV the other day that was in front of the house.
We'll check and see if the car's at the back then. So y'all haven't seen them leave out the front though?
No.
No.
So at this moment, we can't just kick the door and go inside the residence until we have a reason to think that someone's in serious danger. We can't just go inside the house, and everything may be very suspicious, but that's all it is suspicious.
Let's go around the back.
So the neighbor mentioned the cars.
It's one thing I hate about these neighborhoods is it's so hard to get from one side of the house to the other.
You can't access them from the front. The only way to access the back of these houses is to go around to the alley. As soon as we round the corner, it's only one vehicle, white SUV. Headlights are on. There's a male walking around it, and it seems like as he notices us, he walks back into the garage of the house, and then the garage door closes. I definitely remember thinking that could be the male. We see no signs of anybody else.
Nora Edward Adams, 786. He left his car on, went inside and closed the garage.
We kind of look around the car some, we look in the car. I remember noticing hair in the car, and about that time the garage door started to open again. Since we had only seen the male, who we believed to be the suspect, we thought it might be him coming back out. And we both walked back behind that SUV to get cover, but realized it was our victim walking outside. Her expression was one of pure terror.
Dispatch alerts officers to an urgent update from a neighbor.
Baker 3 on Baker 5-1. The male that called it stated that the male ran out of the house. Blue heavy jeans running north towards the entrance to the neighborhood.
He's running north, is that what they said?
Officer Darwin stays with the victim, while Officer Hughes starts tracking the suspect.
All I know is that he's running, and so my thought process is, well, I'm in a car and he's running. If he just continues running north, I'll find him.
Baker 3-1 headquarters, I made it to 19th Street. I don't see him.
He was unsure if he went left or right at 19th.
The victim tells Officer Darwin her account of what happened inside the house.
Hey, I just wanted to give you an update. We're gonna have at least attempted kidnapping and domestic here. She says he tried to bash her head in against the wall and the grates here, dragged her by her hair, ripped out. There's multiple clumps of hair inside the car. He pulled out a gun and tried to get her to shoot him, essentially, and then threatened to kill her and kill all the pets.
I had never really come across anything to this extent. When she showed me her injuries, and I needed to do everything I could to help her.
Baker 3-1, Baker 5-1. I'm not sure if your victim told you or not, but she did mention something about him having a truck parked somewhere nearby, if you can figure out where that's at.
She says that it's a white GMC that all is running to southeast of our location. So plate is Psycho 1.
Do we have his name? Can we check her?
His name is Bearing Schaefer.
Dispatch then gets back to me and tells me that he has confirmed felony warrants out of Arkansas for kidnap and domestic battery. We need to find this guy and we need to capture him.
I think I found that truck on the flock cameras.
Flock camera system are a license plate reader, and it will take a photograph of the vehicle and the license plate so you can locate the suspect vehicle you're searching for.
White GMC Psycho 1.
Psycho 1.
I remember thinking, Psycho 1, that's awful fitting for someone who has charges for kidnapping and domestic violence to the level that this guy does.
Lieutenant Ellis joins the frantic hunt for Schaefer.
It sounded like this suspect was a dangerous person, wanted to make sure that we could do everything in our power to keep him from hurting anyone else.
Yeah, definitely it. We're approaching 4th Street.
He guns it and is trying to get away from me at that point.
Just in case he stops, she did advise she had a gun in her house and she wasn't sure where it was at.
When you suspect that a suspect may be armed, just increases the danger for everyone.
Officer Montague also joins the high-speed pursuit.
I'm kind of trying to go where I believe that they were going to be headed.
Eastbound behind target.
Eastbound behind target.
I set up my vehicle at a point where the suspect vehicle was eventually going to dump back out onto the street at, and I would be waiting for him. The fact that he is in a lifted pickup truck, he's able to jump over curbs, so he was able to pretty much drive wherever he wanted. Me driving a Ford Explorer is a little bit more challenging. He's driving as if he's the only one out there.
I'm some ways back now, and so I'm trying to catch up. The danger to the public just continues to increase by his level of reckless driving.
Driving a lifted pickup truck that fast, making those kind of turns, it really is a recipe for disaster. He slammed on his brakes, and I just remember seeing the sparks flying out of his wheel well. Once we got on that service road, he was pushing about 100 miles an hour. The longer this goes on, the more at risk the public is. I just thought to myself, it's now or never.